I'd do anything for enlightenment, and I did. I gave my life to God, or truth. I don't have a life. I don't have a future. I don't have a past. I gave it all to truth.
I wanted to ask the meditation technique on concentrating on the breath.
Okay.
Will that take me to enlightenment
Probably not.
slowly over time?
Probably not. What it does is it allows you to develop present moment awareness to what is real. When you were a little kid, up till about 4 or 5 years old, you had present moment awareness to everything around you that was real, and you weren't living in your head yet, dreaming. You were just playing and being present to what is real. Then you went to school for up to 12 years, and you learned how to live in your head for 12 years, and that's what's happened to most people. And as adults, most people live in their heads because that's what they've been programmed to do. Meditation, or the formal practice of meditation, allows you to reclaim reality from the dream that you've probably been lost in for a long time. Meditation is beautiful because it's just being aware of what is real. People think it's a spiritual practice. It's a reality practice. Get real. Be aware of what's real. If you really watch your mind, you'll notice that it's not real. It's just dream. So what's real? My voice is real. The image of me is real. What you think about me is not real.
So how exactly do I reach enlightenment? What's the, other than meditation, what stuff can I do?
So I didn't even know what enlightenment was when I was your age. I didn't have a damn clue. I was just really good at business, making money. And then I came across an Indian guru who started talking about enlightenment. And I thought, wow, that's an interesting mountain to climb. Let's see what that one involves, because I'd already done the business trip. And it's different because in climbing the mountain of reality, which is higher consciousness, you've got to let things go. You've got to get rid of all the limiting programs that stop you from climbing that mountain and staying at the top. And so it's very much an undoing process rather than a doing up process, which is personal growth. Personal growth's like, let's become bigger, better, and more powerful. Spiritual growth or reality growth is about becoming less than, taking everything away that's in the way. And that's a process that I was helped with by awake teachers, people who were already awake, who knew the way. Having a teacher who's not awake is not such a good idea because they're lost. Anyone who's not awake is actually still living as an ego and is lost. And so I hung out with the awake ones, and they helped take me apart until there was nothing in the way anymore, until I could be free. And so I could say, oh, you could self-inquire, you could meditate, you could practice openness. But the truth is, the best chance any human being has of waking up is to hang out with other people who are awake. And that's what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's I don't remember actually, but it's Osho said something like, I don't know if Osho said it. I don't remember exactly. But when someone becomes enlightened, it's like a fire starting.
No, the fire starts way before enlightenment. By the time enlightenment happens, you're burnt out. It's like you step into this holy fire that burns away everything that is false, and you're left, in a way, devastated or annihilated. People look at the word nirvana and they think, heaven. No, nirvana means annihilation. My mind has been annihilated. What's left can still operate in the world, but everything that was in the way has been annihilated. It's all been taken apart. And so I can operate in the world, but not the same way that I used to, because I used to operate basically as a gangster businessman. And that's all been removed because it was all in the way. That was all just armour and weaponry. And I needed to actually become a nobody. And we started as nobodies, when we were born, and then we slowly became somebodies until we become so defended and so closed that we don't even perceive love anymore. And the process to reverse that takes a fair bit of effort, where you get back to being wide open like a little kid again, and you start feeling love everywhere. And it's very beautiful. But it is a reverse engineering process, because none of us were programmed for happiness, none of us were programmed for freedom, and none of us were programmed for love. We were actually programmed for war. Competition, which is what school's all about, prepares us for war.
How do I meet more enlightened masters?
Hey, go and see if you can't find them. I found them all over the world. I live with them everywhere. I lived in America with them. I lived in Italy with them. I lived in India with them. I chased them. I was a guru hunter. Once I worked out what they were and what they had and what they were willing to share, I hunted them. And when they came to Australia, I hosted them. I put them up at my house. I chauffeur drove them around. I fed them. I did whatever they needed to do, took them wherever they needed to go, because I knew what they were carrying. I knew they were carrying a Buddha field, and I knew in that Buddha field I could dissolve as an I and find myself as truth.
But you need some amount of money to start hunting gurus, right?
Yeah, you probably do. Yeah, you probably do. Because usually you got to go to another country and live in another country to be with them, unless you've got one living in your town. And that's the very reason that I don't travel, because I'm here for the people that live in West Australia. I'm here for the people who live in Perth, because there's no one else here as far as I know. So it's pointless me going somewhere else. And people can come here and be with me, and if they've got money, they can pay. If they haven't got money, I don't insist on them paying. I don't believe spirituality should be sold in the first place. But, everyone needs to get paid, including the manager of the Buddhist Society. So, such is life. But this is free. You're online to me talking tonight. This is free. I do 4 of these a week. And if you wanted to donate some money, you could. If you don't want to, I don't care. It's fine. You're welcome. You're so welcome.
Well, if I actually start without money, searching for a guru,
Yeah.
possible to find one? Will existence?
In India there is, yeah. Up in Rishikesh, there's what's called Mona teachers, or a Mona teacher is someone who's awake who doesn't talk. And before awakening, that's where I was headed, up to Rishikesh in India, to live up in Rishikesh, to be with the Mona teachers, because I understood that the only thing that we need to learn is unconditional surrender. And if you can find a Buddha field to surrender in, that's the way. And so that's where I was headed. I was taking my whole family up there, my wife and my 2 kids. I was taking them to Rishikesh to live for 6 months. But the Advaita Vedanta teachers came to Perth, and I didn't trust them one bit. But the moment this teacher walked in the room, I lit up and I found myself as the universe again. And boy, did I catch on fire then. Talk about step into the holy fire, mate. Within a year of that occurrence and 1,000 Satori's awakening occurred. And now it's been 25 years awake. 25 years without an ego. 25 years without fear. It's been brilliant.
So if I were to in the future come to you in Australia, would the same
Yeah.
happen to me?
There's no guarantee of anything, mate. If you hung around me, you'd definitely be on fire. I'm not user friendly. I create chaos wherever I go. to boldly go where no mind has gone before. Whatever's in your way, I'll show you. And that might upset you, or it might not. Probably will. Most people get upset. But that gives the opportunity for acceptance and let go. And acceptance and let go is how we learn unconditional surrender. The only thing we have to learn for enlightenment. The only thing we have to learn, for that matter, for love. Unconditional surrender of the mind.
Yeah. I'd do anything for enlightenment. Well, I wouldn't care if I get upset. Anything for truth. Like, there's no other way other than the truth.
Look, you have the right attitude. That's the attitude I had. I'd do anything for enlightenment, and I did. I gave my life to God, or truth. I don't have a life. I don't have a future. I don't have a past. I gave it all to truth.
But that's where everyone is headed eventually, right?
I don't know.
Everyone.
Yeah, but I can only talk about myself. I don't know about other people. I'll talk to you about my own direct experience, but I'm not going to talk about something I've read in a book or heard from some guru. I don't trust any of that stuff. I trust my own direct experience. And I don't ask anyone to ever believe me. I ask people to look where I'm pointing and find out for yourself. Anyone who tries to sell you a belief is trying to imprison you. Don't get involved.
So basically, so before some basic things that I'll have to do is I've heard you say that your life became better from giving service to others, being in service to others.
It did, but it took a lot for me to get to that point. I had to see that I'd wasted my life for 33 years serving myself. I had to see it, and I had to feel the regret of it.
How many?
We've all been conned, man. We've all been brainwashed into believing stuff that's not real.
Can I ask one more question?
Yep.
How many lifetimes do you remember?
I have never really counted them, but there was this week that happened back a long time ago where I couldn't stop the memories coming. And it was just constant memories of past lives, and it ran into hundreds. And then after a week, it stopped. And it was so good that it stopped. It was like having a movie playing in my head that I had no control over. And it was one life after the next life after the next life. And I was a soldier or a priest, or a soldier and a priest in most lifetimes. So I was into spirituality, and I was also into war. And so I remember the smell of the blood. I remember the killing. I remember the tragedy of war. You see, people think, well, you remember all the good things. No, you remember all the bad things. And one thing that I really got out of that was, I don't want to do this again.
Does suffering, as you progress with lifetimes, does suffering get like less?
Heck no. The only way that suffering gets less is when you stop resisting life, when you start accepting life and being okay with life as it is. The moment you resist anything, you start suffering. It's even with pain. Pain isn't suffering. The resistance to pain is suffering. Yeah, so stop resisting. Resistance is futile.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice to talk to you, Duru. Nice to talk to you.
Nice to